Welcome to episode 94 of the Analog Assault Podcast. This week we have a special guest with this big hat, Sully, so let's go!
You're listening to Analog Assault, a video game podcast by Mulehorn Gaming.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Analog Assault Podcast episode. And tonight we have a very special guest with us. And let's go ahead and introduce all of our friends that are listening and watching this. And that's Mr. Sully right here. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Thank you so much for having me on. My old Texas friends, good to see you again.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. Look at those pops back there, bro. Look at all those pops.
I collect a few things. You guys might have heard of Funko before. I got a few of their products behind me.
Just a few, maybe.
And that's grown since last time I saw the vault in Houston.
This is, sadly, this is just a fraction. This is a small part of what, there's a whole other rooms in this house that are dedicated to my passions / obsessions.
I can only imagine, man.
Well, guys, before we get into too much with our special guest here, just a few little housekeeping things. And just want to say, if you like the content here, then head over to patreon.com/Mulehorn Gaming, get all the details. Or now, you can just sub to the Twitch stream if you'd like to do that. That's a great way to support. You can catch us live every Thursday night at twitch.com/Mulehorn Gaming at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And my dudes, before we get into this, I got to ask, we ask this every podcast, what have you been playing, man? What you been doing?
Oof. So last week,
Yeah, go.
Mule and Thaddeus may have started playing this fun little bit older game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I've been a huge fan of Assassin's Creed over the years. I played Origins when it came out. I didn't really like it as much as the other ones, so I was like, I wasn't really sure about Odyssey, but
Yeah.
I found it for $25 this last week, and boy, have I sunk some time into it. In the last 3 days, you'll see, like, Underdog, he's been playing it for as long as you guys have, I think. So you got the same time. And in the span of 3 days, I managed to catch up to him and pass him by, I think, 2 or 3 chapters.
Why is it not surprising?
It's probably because you don't sleep, dude. I don't know how you do that.
I mean, I slept till 11 today. I don't know why.
Dang.
Those late nights.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying that. I'm up to level 28, 27, 28.
Yeah.
So
Okay, then.
I'm really enjoying it. I ended up getting the season pass as well. There's actually a couple, unfortunately, but kind of interesting. There's a couple actual perks in the perk tree that you only get if you have the DLCs.
Yeah.
And they are pretty crucial, I think, just from a keeping your adrenaline up standpoint.
Yeah.
There's
I
one
use
that
the health a lot to get mine up.
Yeah. That, but like, for example, there's one in the warrior tree that basically you strike an enemy for 5 hits and it regenerates 3 adrenaline for you.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I kind of need that.
Yeah. And then there's for the assassin tree one, if you assassinate someone without anyone else seeing it, the body disappears. Makes it
so they
nice.
can't see it. I got it.
Mhm.
Okay, that's smart. I don't know if I'd ever
It's
make use
hidden.
of that one because I Jenkins everything. So.
Oh, I am
Yeah.
hardcore
Yeah,
into
dude.
assassination. Like, it's ridiculous. Like that's what I loved about the old Assassin's Creed games is I love
Yeah.
stealthing around, picking off people one by one.
Yeah.
Other than
So-
that, back to my regular stuff. A little bit of ESO, a little bit of PSO2. Got some Destiny into this week. We had a really fun situation where it was me, Underdog, Barry, Lupo, and Gagne decided we're gonna go for that final triumph that we need for this season's title. Whereas you've got to complete this public event, this really difficult one, without any enemies stepping on the plates that you're defending. Well, that's pretty rough when you got 3 plates in a huge area and all the enemies are around your level. Like they're not below your level at all, so they're really rough. So we're like, okay, we're gonna instance in, we're gonna trick the system to get multiple squads in the area, and we went to one planet and we're like, this is not gonna be doable with 6 people. Like this is rough. We cannot do
Yeah.
this. So we decided we're gonna try a different planet so that the enemies are different typing. Because we were trying Vex, the Vex kept teleporting onto the plates. Real rough. So we went to the moon, decided, oh, there's Fallen here. Okay, these are a little bit easier.
Wait, this is the new content drop? I guess the what is it called? Or the season,
current
I mean?
season. It's
Okay.
not the Guardian games, but it's the
Okay.
Seraph Towers,
Okay.
is what they're called.
Okay.
Basically, you're defending 3 towers, and every so often the towers will charge up and release a bunch of energy balls that you have to throw at the tower, basically.
Very nice.
Anyway,
Cool.
luckily there was 3 other people, just randos in the area, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna risk it. We're gonna invite these guys to the party. And amazingly, they were trying to do the exact same thing with only 3 of them. We're like, oh, let's just party up and I'll do this. So it took us 3 hours with 9 people communicating to get this thing, but we finally got it. Took a picture with everybody with their almighty titles, but we finally did it, and that was
Oh my gosh,
really
dude.
cool. Made some new friends. Gonna start doing some more Destiny stuff with them. I'm excited.
Nice, man. So what about you,
I can
Mr.
say
Primetime?
Played far less games than that. Just one. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is just like The Witcher 3 in the fact that it has its hooks in me. I can't stop playing it. So good. And I am probably the same amount of hours, but not as far in progression as everyone else because I have to complete
100%
everything.
every island?
Like,
yeah.
Question mark, gotta get it. Mission, gotta get it.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, well, here's this picture from one of them. Like, wait, when do you see this in the game? I gotta do more story. Dang it.
I had
But
a
I love it, man. From
situation.
Spartan kicking to Venom blading to assassinating. It's just so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, we've been playing it's been like me, Underdog, and Barry all in a party chat, just playing our separate things. We're like, oh shit, this just happened. Like, oh wait, I can't say anything because I'm farther ahead of you. Like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I had a really weird situation though. Some of the scaling, the level scaling gets a little wonky, if you've noticed.
If you don't do side quests, you can progress the story too fast.
I had a quest that it was multiple part quests, and I had to go find these mathematical equations for a guy, like the Pythagorean theorem, and then 2 others. I don't remember the names of them. Anyway, you take them to him, and he's like, okay, now I'm going to take them to this girl that I like to read them to her. And all of a sudden, like, that quest progresses, and all of a sudden it says, level 42 enemies. And I'm level 18 at the time. Like, wait, what? What?
Hey, guys.
You go to the girl's house, and she's been murdered by thugs. And the thugs start chasing you. And luckily, I kind of realized that there was a leader's house right next to her house. So what I did was I got the thugs over to the leader house and had the other guards that were there kill them.
Very nice.
Got a couple shots.
Any of the guards say, "Let me hear you squeal, pig." Okay.
I just open the cages with lions and stuff in them so they can eat them or whatever. That's what I do. I just open the cages and let them eat them. I
just mistakenly, I was like, oh, leader house, run in real fast, get the guards. And I just ran away and hid.
Yep.
Been really enjoying that.
It's a fun game.
There's a lot of gear in that game, and I really like that there's actual transmog, because some of it's pretty damn ugly.
Yeah, there's a ton of. It's very RPG-ish. It's as we had that conversation in Discord today. It's not very Assassin's Creed anymore. It's more like RPG Assassin's Creed, which I'm fine with. I love that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I really wish this was just the original, where if I'm gonna assassinate a guy, it's gonna die. Luckily, I'm kind of figuring out how their systems work, especially with the crit assassination. I don't know if you guys got that yet.
Yep.
But
where you hold the Y instead of just Yep.
So one little tip I have on that. You know when you go up to stealth behind a guy and you can see how much damage the assassination is going to do?
Just the tip.
Sorry, what?
I said just the tip.
I couldn't hear you. Anyway, so like imagine like it only shows portion of the health bar it's going to take out.
Yeah.
Basically, depending on what level of that skill you have, the crit assassination is going to double that.
Oh,
so if,
nice. Okay.
On level 1, it'll double the damage. On level 3, it triples the damage. So just
Very
having level
nice.
1, if the bar is at least halfway, you're gonna insta kill him with a crit assassination.
Nice.
So I found out some.
Very nice.
Like it doesn't really explain a lot of that stuff. I'm having to do like testing.
Yeah.
And I'm having a good time.
So Sully, I've been lurking in your streams, and if you guys don't know, Sully's been streaming at mixer.com/McCracken5. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Not 4, not 6.
Not
but
4, but 5.
The first 4 didn't make it.
Johnny 5 is alive. So I've been noticing some Animal Crossing in there, maybe a little Halo. So what have you been playing, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I was on a long gaming hiatus until all this craziness in the world and found myself with a lot of extra time. So I had bought this computer 2 years ago to do streaming. I thought that was going to be my thing, and life got in the way real fast. But when this opened back up, this time opportunity, I'm going to look at it in a positive way. I said, you know what? Now's time to return to streaming. So I jumped back on I think it was a month ago yesterday. I started streaming again. And Animal Crossing I had gotten on release day. I never thought in a million years, like listening to N64 Josh on last week's episode that you guys had him on, I'm with him. I was like, I didn't think this would be a thing that I would really get into, but it did. And I love it. And I play at least a couple hours a day. I always start my streams with Animal Crossing because almost everybody in the little community that I have on my Mixer stream is playing as well. Yeah. So they watch, they get tips. Several have bought Switches and the game since then because I think of the streams and the community. Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. And we help each other out. People are constantly sending me gifts to the mailbox so that I can decorate my house or craft the next thing that I've got to. They'll come over to my island. We're always helping each other out with the turnip prices, which is an in-game must if you want to make a bunch of money. Here.
What are your turnip prices?
I didn't check today. But mine are always dismal. That's what mine are. No one wants to visit my island to sell their nips. I'm a nip-free island mostly.
No nip for you.
No nips.
But you can only play so much Animal Crossing in a day before you got to mix it up. I'm an old-school first-person shooter guy all the way. I'm not about cutscenes and too much complexity in a video game. I like to get a gun, go in, and shoot stuff. Yes. And so I've returned to Halo 5. I've been playing that a lot. Man, I love the sniper in Halo every time. If I can get my hands on it, I just light up like Christmas and start popping skulls and splitting wigs all over the place.
There you go.
Love it. Got into Doom Eternal last night, thanks to one of my followers and friends who bought it for me, which was a nice perk.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you don't have to buy a game, it makes it that much sweeter. So jumped in on that. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. I do have a buddy I'm game sharing with now, so he benefits from that perk.
Yeah,
exactly. He's gonna load it up and go, wait a minute, I have this? I haven't even told him.
Surprise for the scooter.
Exactly. And then occasionally I'll mix it up. I play a little Call of Duty Warzone here recently, which I'm enjoying, even though I'm not good at it. I am not good at Battle Royale games. My best skill in a Battle Royale game is partnering up with people who are better than me. And I know a few, so I try to do that whenever possible. It's all about nerds unite, and I'm the guy in the back going, "Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me!"
You're the designated reviver.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the healer, but I'm nowhere to be seen. I'm behind that bush over there. You know. You guys get them. I support you. And then I have a long time addiction to this. One's gonna surprise you. Candy Crush. I cannot stop playing Candy Crush.
That's right. You do play that.
I'm on like level 4,000 and something at this point.
Oh my
Jeez.
I know. I play every day. I don't know why. Thanks to my sister-in-law who got me hooked on it like 8 years ago. I think I've played every day since then.
I think you were playing that back in Houston when you lived here.
Yep. I do not know. I love puzzle games. And that one, it looks like it belongs in the hands of an 8-year-old girl. Well, call me an 8-year-old girl. I'm all over it. I love that game.
How much money have you think you spent in that game?
I don't spend any money.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
Nope.
wow. That's
I'm
impressive.
I'm one of
Impressive,
those
sir.
rare creatures who earns it.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Wow, that is impressive.
So I've been playing pretty much the same rotation as you guys. I've been doing Apex, Warzone, Assassin's Creed, but I have a funny story I want to share with you guys, and it's a mule and mama mule story here. So as you guys know, we're all in lockdown. So like, I work from home, my wife works from home. We also have to have 4 kids in the house with a dog, and we have to do schoolwork during the day.
God.
So it was just one of those days, right? Where like as a parent, you're just like, just sit down, I'm done. Like, stop what you're doing. And so my wife had a moment where she like yelled and was like, go to your room. You're like too crazy right now. And that my middle son was like, you know, he's pretty sensitive, so he's a little hurt. And so my wife goes back and she's like, you know, Whit, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I just kind of lost my temper for a second there. Let's start over. And he goes, hey, Mama, in his little voice, he's like, hey, Mama, you kind of looked like the Emperor. And then he goes, do it.
Oh man.
And what was funny is we had just watched episode 3 of Star Wars, and so he saw that when the Emperor told Anakin, do it. And so
He saw the dark side in her eyes.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny. So the man of the hour here, Mr. Big Hat Sully, or just Sully, I guess you could say.
That'll work.
I could not find a picture, dang it.
Oh, that okay. So man, you didn't start out at Funko. You started out with we met you years ago at PAX South with the Nerd Foo. You were doing just a fan podcast, website, pop culture. It was a really fun podcast. It's one of the first podcasts I started listening to. It was like y'all, Aim Assist, and a couple others.
Yep.
And then I remember you were at PAX. It's like, dude, we got to meet these guys. These guys are awesome, and we just really hit it off. So kind of tell us your story, because I think it's a pretty cool story, man. You took like a dream and made it a reality. So walk us down that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I grew up a nerd. I didn't know to call myself that at the time, but I was into action figures and video games and movies and TV. I did not like the outside. I was convinced it was trying to kill me. I was into all that stuff, and until I got to high school, I was all about that life. And then I got into sports and girls and went to college, and slowly but surely started to find my way back to it. And met a good friend of mine, Steve, who I ended up co-founding Nerd Foo with at the old print company that we worked at in Houston. And he called me up. We knew each other a little bit. We knew we overlapped when it came to our favorite movies and video games and things like that. He calls me up and says, hey, you ever wanted to go to SDCC? I was like, yeah, but like I thought that was an industry thing. He said, no. We can get tickets. I've researched it. I was like, hey, if you can make it happen, I am 100% in. And he made it happen at a time when it was starting to become very difficult. We got lucky enough to score tickets for 2 days.
Nice.
So we went, had no idea what to expect. Got there. From the second we got near the convention center at SDCC, my world changed. Everything opened up. I started seeing things. I'm like just dorking out. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
It was like all of a sudden I put contacts in after being blind for the majority of my life, I'm looking around, I'm seeing my people, I'm seeing these things I love, I'm feeling this energy I haven't felt before. And I just absolutely loved it. And Steve and I, we embraced it fully. From the first day, we started standing in these 10-hour lines like everybody else does, and it became part of life. I don't even mind it. I enjoy it. I know it's crazy, but you meet so many amazing people when you do these things. And he and I were just hamming it up, talking to each other. And a guy in line was like, you guys should do a podcast. It's like, what? And Steve was like, oh, yeah. Steve was hyped on the idea from day one. I was like, I don't like my voice. I don't want to do this. And he's like, come on, try it with me. Well, fast forward a little bit. We started a podcast on April 1st. We didn't even realize what day we did it on. We started on April Fool's Day.
April 1st, yeah.
Launched our site, the whole nine. That was Nerd Foo after some months of planning and researching, not knowing anything about podcasting other than what we had heard through Chris Hardwick with Nerdist and a few others at the time. And we got the podcast going, and no one was listening for a while, and we were fine with that. We were just enjoying hanging out, bro time, And the whole purpose of Nerd Foo was to share the things that we were interested in.
Mhm.
We were already doing that on Facebook and Twitter. We were tagging each other. Hey, look at this. Did you see this trailer? Did you see this figure? Did you get that pop yet? We were doing all that stuff anyway. So we just turned that from talking to each other to talking to the audience that was what we call the Fu-Tang Clan.
Yep.
Our Nerd Foo fans. Fu-Tang Clan for life.
Whoop.
Yeah.
And we ran with that strong for 3-4 years, building an audience, doing giveaways. We I found out the other day, we did over 100 prize pack giveaways on our site over the course of the years. And we built an audience on Facebook of almost 100,000. We got real close to reaching that mark. 28 or 29,000 on Twitter, 13,000 on Instagram. We just kept building, and everywhere we went, we met with people like you guys. We're at PAX South, and we're like, we got to meet up. And on day one, we all became great friends. We podcasted together with Guardian Outpost and you guys.
Yep.
That's been a relationship that we've kept going off and on for years.
Because anal.
Exactly. Listen back to that episode.
Inside joke. Yeah.
I was gonna bring it up at some point. Good call, T Prime. We did not do that. There's a whole joke involved.
No. Let's specify real quick, please.
Yes, put that disclaimer at the bottom of the screen, please.
No.
Is that going to be the podcast title? Because anal.
Yes. Oh my God, that must have brought in some viewers or listeners. They don't think they hung around for long, but yeah, we built Nerd Foo up, and it led to some amazing opportunities to do some cool things. We went to cons all over the country. We just kept building. People, when we would go to cons, occasionally people would actually recognize us, which was crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that. And then that was while I was working a 9-to-5 day job, which went away, unfortunately, out of my control. And I sat down and I made a list of places I wanted to work, and that list was one name long, and it was Funko. That was it. I kept looking at that list, and I would look at other jobs online for like 9 months. That's how long I really had in the bank to find another gig, being very careful about my spending. And about 8 months and 2 weeks into that, after looking at all these other jobs that I was not interested in one bit, I just couldn't see myself in those positions, a marketing job at Funko came up. And so I emailed my buddy Cameron, who I'd known for years, who worked at Funko, and said, "Hey, man, do you think you guys might be interested in having this redneck on the Funko staff up there?" And he said, "Are you kidding? You would be willing to move?" He emailed his boss. His boss set up an interview. I got the interview. I went up to Seattle, nailed that, got the job, the offer the next day, sold our house, moved all our stuff across the country, and was in seat 6 weeks later.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. I did not sit down for those 6 weeks. I think I lost like 25 pounds because there was no time to eat. We were having garage sales. We were selling stuff. We were moving. We were saying goodbye to friends. You know, like we were never going to see them again. But still, when you move 2,300 miles, it changes things quite a bit.
A little bit.
And I went to work at Funko, and man, what an amazing opportunity and experience it has been. From the day one there, that boss, my friend Mark, now my friend, ex-boss, was like, "You want to start a podcast here?" I was like, "Are you kidding? That would be a dream. Let's do it." And I already had ideas, and most of the outline, the name of the podcast, the structure, everything I came up with in one of my drives from Houston to Seattle. And almost all of that is still the format of the show today after 100 and what are we at, 137 episodes? No, 153 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't believe it. It's changed a lot over the years in that the people that I had on the podcast, the Funcast crew, are all very busy in different ways. So we don't get to all be on there every week. We do a lot more interview style stuff now where we bring in artists from inside the company. We've been lucky enough to have on some amazing people like Chris Hardwick. I still can't believe I got to interview Chris Hardwick in person. That was amazing.
Oh my gosh. We're geeking out.
Oh, I was internally on fire, freaking out. I don't know what I said until the next day. I'm like, yeah, the whole time. We had on Sir Mix a lot. We had WWE's Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. We had on Big Walt from the Seattle Seahawks. We've had on so many people over the years. It's been amazing to have on these amazing guests from outside the company that are also collectors. But the podcast grew, and it led to some more dreams that I got to see. And the one that sticks out the most was last year in Ballroom 6 AB in front of 1,000 people. I got to do a live podcast, SDCC.
Oh yeah,
got my little plaque for the table there, my name plaque with the SDCC logo and my name next to it, and that equally as freaking out as interviewing Chris Hardwick because that was surreal.
The
to say the
dream, right?
least. It was full circle. I went from the nerd who got off the plane in San Diego and didn't know what he expected to going through all those years as a fan, as press, as a podcaster, and then to be on stage. I mean, the only next step that could surpass that would be Hall H. I'm not crossing my fingers on that, but you never know what might happen in the future.
Yeah, you
Wow,
never know.
dude. Wow.
What a journey.
It's been unreal. It really has.
And it's
I'm
like
glad that I could be there for part of that on the Houston side. That was some good times, you know, Fu-Tang Clan, Nerdy Night, some crazy games, some crazy drinking, some crazy fun, Funko swapping. It was good times, man.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings for you and I to swap out some Spider-Man pops back in the day.
B-dubs.
Isn't that nuts? and you know, honestly, I know it's going to sound like a thank you speech at an award show, but I absolutely could not have done any of that without the friends, the family that I made along the way in the nerd community of people who were supportive and believed in us and gave us so many nice compliments along the way and bolstered my confidence to do things like doing live panels. And are the same folks, many of them, who join my Mixer channel every night. So I get to see familiar faces and names there, which is, man, it's so nice. It's it is, again, surreal.
You inspired a lot of people on the way. One person I can think off the top of my head is Corgi Commander. That guy has taken con experiences to the whole new level thanks to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
He's amazing. He doesn't have his own channel, his own podcast, his own YouTube videos, but he is a celebrity doing his corgi droppings at the cons where he gives away loot. It's so much fun. He's such a great guy.
It's awesome. And a fun fact, you know, I was on y'all's podcast a few times, but in the midst of that is when I got hooked onto Funko Pops as well. I went from a former comic collector to like, okay, what are these pop things? Holy crap, these are amazing. And I was obsessed with collecting them. I had to have them all. I had pretty much almost every Deadpool up to a few Grails for a long time. And until I had to dial it down a bit because I was running out of room and extra cush money. So it was glorious. I've unfortunately sold them on Pop since then to get back into comics, but I have one left and it's already earmarked for someone else in the podcast. It is Shepherd from Mule Horn.
Dude, are you serious?
Gift that I've yet to send to you or deliver to you in person.
Yes, dude. Oh my gosh, I can't wait, dude.
It's like I will not sell this one. Maybe.
Yes.
No,
dude,
that's
thanks,
awesome.
Brian.
It's been a great journey, man. Amazing to have you on here, and it's just reliving these memories is getting me all giddy again. But yeah, man, thanks for. I mean, I have one question though. Do you miss Whataburger?
Oh God, so much. Shout out! Always, I got the Whataburger on standby. There you go. I keep this close. But I've got everybody at work knows my obsession with Whataburger. The fans, the followers of Funko know my obsession with Whataburger, and so many people over the years now, because of the Funcast, have gone through Texas and the other 8 states where Whataburger has a presence, and gone out of their way to go to Whataburger. And Whataburger follows me on Twitter now.
That's my gosh, dude!
Damn.
That's how I knew I arrived.
You have arrived. Oh man. Dude, I gotta say too, because like we owe, like when we were starting this is when we met you, and we owe a lot to you as well, because like a lot of the people that knew you kind of started listening to us as well. Like Anger, who's in our chat, who's one of our Patreon supporters, like Corgi, Cheesemo, all these guys, how we just like intersected, and it just I'm getting chill bumps talking about it, man, because it's just like. It's literally like the hashtag you always use, like Nerds Unite, man. And it feels good.
Man, I live that. I believe that. I just recently, I heard Chris Hardwick. I still listen to him when he podcasts with ID10T. He said something that really brought it back around for me. And he's like, hey, there is room for us all to succeed in this world. It doesn't matter if you overlap. Why have competition in this space? There's room for us all to succeed. And that's something that I believed. And that's why I say Nerds Unite. I think we should all come together. Positivity. I fully believe in a positive presence, taking care of the people around you, you know, taking a moment to check in on friends and family. I mean, before this whole COVID thing, I always thought that was important. Now more than ever. And luckily we can do it digitally. But yeah, I fully believe in supporting great creators like you guys, and it fuels me back. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I was just thinking back to some great moments we had, and this is a little off script here, but I have to bring up when we were all at Comic Palooza, and the moment we got to go into Coral Sword, and we got to live podcast with Ming, and like you. Yes. And watching Ming fanboy over you and Funko was like awesome, dude.
That was awesome.
It was a great photo from that.
I was like, I'm next to Ming. Holy crap!
Yep. Yeah. Ming has become a good friend over the years and is one of the most solid dudes you will ever meet. He's so generous with his time to anyone. Somebody will come up and say, Ming, you want a podcast? He never goes, who are you? How big's your audience? Never. It doesn't matter if that podcast can be listened to by 2 people. Ming will be like, yes, let's do it right now. Love that guy. Amazing. What a role model that the rest of the world has yet to see, but they need to. I think he'll continue to grow because of how great a guy he is.
Yeah, completely agree with that, man. Because he didn't even know who we were from Joe Dirt. And he's like, hey, tell me about you. And I'm like, I'm on your live stream, man. And he's just like, yeah, just tell me. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like, yeah. So we're going to get into in just a second. We're doing some MHG madness with TV shows. And since you're a connoisseur of pop culture, we're going to go over that in a little bit. But I have one more question for you. And this is the first time I've asked someone this, but what are 5 little known facts about you that maybe no one else doesn't know? Like maybe you know a foreign language. I mean, we obviously know about Whataburger.
Well, I thought about this a little bit beforehand, and I figured the best way to approach it would be just, you know, those security questions that you get when you put in a password somewhere, like what street that you grew up on, what was your mother's maiden name? I figured I'd just run down that list of things. So here we go. I'm just kidding. People take a note. I don't bank at Bank of America, by the way. Don't think that.
Oh, that'd been too easy.
No, I tried to come up with 5 that are a little unique. I know some of the listeners of the Funcast and Nerd Foo might have heard these by now, because I am a pretty open guy for the most part, which could be dangerous one day. We'll see. Let's see. Here's 5 things. I was a cheerleader junior high through college. So a total of 6 years, I was a cheerleader at all different levels. And during that time, I went from a little pudgy, my nickname was Pillsbury, to 6 foot, almost no body fat. And then I got back to the Pillsbury mode later in life. Went to school at Sam Houston State University in the great state of Texas.
Yeah.
I detest olives and mushrooms. Never want anything to do with either.
Right there with you, dude. Don't put mushrooms on pizza. Don't do it.
Them both.
Or pineapple. No, never.
Yeah, don't pineapple. Like what? Whoever thought that up?
It is
pineapple
an
on pizza is
ongoing
the best thing in the world.
Maybe.
Oh no!
No.
This is an ongoing debate for our community.
I also love mushrooms. Can't stand olives. I can't. I'll split you there. I can't stand olives, but I love mushrooms.
Well,
I can eat olives like candy. So good.
It's like eating rubber.
Scarecrow.
Yeah. Sour, delicious, salty rubber.
Yeah, like mushrooms, like on a pizza is like rubber, dude. It's like I just can't do it.
It's a flavor like a sponge, man.
I see HR Bomber's like black olives and mushrooms are the shiz. Well, there, yeah, that's how I'd say it, but just not in the same tone. Let's see, going down the list. I found this out. My brother and I just started a new podcast called Movie Retakes that we launched. We're doing our 7th episode. And when we started, he and I recorded when I was up visiting him in Canada. And I went on to, there's this great site called Podchaser, where you can build out your profile and put every podcast you've ever done in there, like an IMDb. Mm-hmm. My brother and I's first episode of Movie Retakes was my 400th episode of a podcast.
Dang.
Wow. Can you believe that?
First rodeo.
No. From a guy who didn't want a podcast to all these years later having done 400 podcasts, give or take. There's a few lost ones out there. It happens along the way. It's a sign of a good podcast when you lose one.
Right. Yeah.
I've been out of room to store collectibles since 2015. But somehow I just keep going strong. No, that didn't really count. I'm just kidding there. And then this one's kind of unique. I might have talked about this before, but my wife and I started dating back in 1993. So we've been together since the beginning of time. And I have a box of tickets for every movie, concert, sporting event, etc. that we've gone to over those years.
That is
So
awesome.
you're a little sentimental there.
I'm a very sentimental guy. I can't get rid of stuff. It's so hard for me. But that box,
I mean, look at the wall behind him.
Yeah, exactly. One day I'd like to go through that box and organize it. A lot of them are just the old, like it just says admit one. I couldn't tell you what it's for. But then once they started printing the concert tickets and the movie tickets, I've got them all the way back to, anything you can think of that we saw in the theater. I've got it.
Yeah.
That is
right on, man. That's
Weird
so
collection.
cool. That's cool, man. So we got you here, so we gotta kind of lean in on your pop culture knowledge, and I'm gonna throw it up on the screen for you guys to kind of piece this together a little bit. But this is our MHG March Madness. We did one for video games. It's like March Madness style. Now we're doing it for TV shows, and you, sir, have quite a bit of TV knowledge. So we have our comedy round, which we're looking at, which for you guys, let's see, that would be, I think it's a little off, but it's
Lower left?
Lower left, yeah. Yeah,
No,
that's animation.
That's animated.
Yeah.
Upper right. Upper right.
Yeah, upper right.
Yep.
So right now, we have Friends and Parks and Rec going against each other. We know a bro that likes
competition. I'm sorry, it's not even competition.
But is it?
But is it?
No, it's not even a competition.
Yeah, before you all get into this next round, can I just say, I got to back up here a second. I looked over your previous choices. Arrested Development losing to How I Met Your Mother was quite the upset.
I
Arrested
agree.
Development,
If you don't get that.
No, don't count the Netflix revival business. Just those first 3 seasons, and it is one of the best comedies ever made. I enjoyed How I Met Your Mother, but that last season, not so much.
I agree, man.
I'm glad. Like, I totally voted for How I Met Your Mother.
Wow.
I love that show way more.
Have
No
you
way.
seen Arrested Development?
Not
No,
all of
that's-
it.
Yeah, because
There's always money in the banana stand.
That's a 420 answer.
I blew myself.
You chose.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I derailed you. You were getting into the Friends versus Parks and Rec.
No. Like, out of this whole category, because you guys can kind of see it, the top's cut off a little bit on stream. I have to move it a little bit. But Friends, Parks and Rec, How I Met Your Mother, Community, The Office, Silicon Valley, Seinfeld, and Brooklyn Nine. Who's going to come out on top over here?
Ooh.
Ugh. So, next round, it's gonna. Well, right now, I mean, we got to start from the top and move down. We got to start with Friends versus Parks and Rec. Obviously, we kind of. No, we didn't go over that one yet, but I mean, hardcore for me, it has to be Friends. Just long time running, just a great show all around.
Ultimate classic.
I've maybe
good.
at least every other year I've got to go and watch through it. It seems like.
Yeah.
I know Steve would agree.
Plays on,
That's his...
Go ahead, man.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I know Steve would agree. That's his all-time favorite show. I think he's seen every episode like 100 times at this point.
Yeah.
Dang.
It plays on, I forget what it's, TBS, I guess, during my lunchtime. So I see an episode or two every day at work.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Not recently, but when I go in the office. And so, like, I think I've seen every episode at least twice by now. And it's good. Still good.
Yeah.
I love both.
I love
But I
Parks and
think-
Rec. It's my recent completion. It's hilarious, but
Yep.
Friends just by a little tilts it.
Friends was a different era and a time where
Yeah.
that show was very important to me during that time. So, yeah, that one will always sentimentally win. But I think just if you looked at every episode of the two, Friends was more solid throughout.
Yeah.
Probably true on that. But I gotta go with Parks and Rec. It's just that or The Office are the top two right there. Because they're just so
top two?
freaking funny. It's so funny, man.
But then, like,
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother or Community, like, what are you guys going for?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I
I've
haven't watched
seen
either.
more of How I Met Your Mother, so I'm probably in that way.
See, I love How I Met Your Mother, but I'm actually currently watching Community. I'm on season 2, and boy, I'm just loving it. Like, just the little stupid little things, especially like the last 5 seconds or so of every episode. They always have this little bit that they do, and it's normally these two characters that do something. and one of them is it's the characters Troy and Abed, and they do this morning like fake morning show that they do at the college. It's like Good Morning America, but it's called Troy and Abed in the morning.
Troy and
And
Abed
it's
in
like
the morning.
yeah, and there's like no cameras or anything. They just do it for no reason.
Yeah.
They're great
It's hilarious.
characters. Yeah, I'm with you. I go Community over How I Met Your. That show had some off episodes along the way, but the ones that struck, they struck hard. That show is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to explain Community to Underdog the other day, and like it's oddly they have a lot of racism discussions in there.
Yep.
Like I was really surprised, like yeah. It's like but they say a lot of stuff, but then they say like how it's bad. It's kind of this weird situation, but it works out.
So many great ongoing gags with that show that they bring back seasons later. They did a really good job of building on that stuff. I really appreciate that because sometimes they'll dumb down shows to only make them funny in that 30 minutes. I like shows that build on the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Office, Silicon Valley.
Wow, those are
Office.
both great. Office,
Yeah.
though.
Recently, Silicon Valley was, well, when it was airing, was pretty fantastic. But The Office, I mean, just like Friends,
Mhm.
it still freaking kicks. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never
It is
watched
great.
Silicon Valley, but I have to go Office. It was just I watched it for the first time actually maybe a year ago or
Wow.
so. Just binged it all in a matter of like a month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just
You
really
get
good.
such amazing talent come out from that group. You know,
Yeah,
some
for
are
sure.
still doing rocking stuff to this day. It's amazing.
So
I just on the chat, HR Bomber said, I haven't seen hardly any of these. I was kind of appalled with myself with how many I had seen. I'm like, oh my God, there's only a few of the things on this entire list that I've never seen before.
Wowza.
I was gonna be surprised if you hadn't seen something.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll call out. There's a couple in there when we get to them. But in the comedy section, I think I've seen every single one of these.
Nice.
So moving because y'all are all pretty much consensus friends for this. So
yeah.
yeah.
Overall, for the whole category,
Office takes it
That's
for
what
me.
I'm saying.
yeah.
Comedy.
The Office, man.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go Friends for the whole
Oh.
comedy.
Well, you know, crow is crow. No, I get it, man. That's a crap ton of nostalgia, but The
Yeah.
Office, I mean, I get way more laughs and memorable characters that I can relate to.
Now I'm
Michael
gonna have a
Scott, man.
really
Yeah.
probably unpopular opinion about The Office, but it just makes me. Grant, I still really like it, but probably unpopular is that I liked it much better once Michael left.
Oh, really?
What?
Oh,
Yes,
You're
like
the
I
one.
enjoyed his character and all, but
Yeah.
like it just I feel like it got better once he left.
I don't know. I thought he was like the
That's
show
very-
driver.
That's a pretty Dwight thing to say.
Yeah, it is.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's what she
Beats
said.
Bears,
Exactly.
Battlestar Galactica.
So good.
Right. So moving on to animation, which is on the bottom left for you guys watching on the stream. We have left, which this is crazy. We have The Simpsons, Batman, DuckTales, and Futurama. And I gotta say,
X-Men not make it that far.
I don't know. What the heck is wrong with our Discord?
Batman animated series was good, but
I-
the X-Men animated series set the freaking bar.
But well,
In
when you
my
build
opinion.
that, Batman's way better, dude. The stories in the animated Batman are fantastic.
I don't care. There's no anime that have made it this far, so I'm just out of it. I don't care.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Everything
Metal-
got knocked out
this
first
one.
round.
Full Metal. Let's see. Full Metal, Dragon Ball.
Avatar.
What was the other one here? Avatar, My Hero.
Avatar's not anime.
Oh, really? Oh, that's true. It's not. That's not.
I don't
He was-
care who you are.
He
that
was
is-
real quick with that one. He
we
had that
have,
on
we have a guy in
standby.
our community. In our community, Orange Revenge. You guys know him. He thinks that is an anime, and I will go toe to toe with him any day of the week, explaining how it is not.
It's anime.
It is an anime style, great anime style cartoon, but it's not an anime.
There's your next podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a Dinka podcast.
Right. We'll just do a YouTube video of Crow just explaining that.
He gets angrier and angrier as it goes on.
Yeah.
It's not anime.
I think this one's Simpsons all the way myself.
Yeah.
Really, even over Batman?
Batman and Simpsons just takes it. I mean, they predict the freaking future.
It's coming up more and more, isn't it?
It is. It is crazy.
It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
I just saw the whole like COVID-19 clip today or yesterday, and I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah.
Well, that one, and there's another one. It's like this doctor's telling this mob that you just need to stay home and rest, and any like drugs we'd give you would just be a placebo. And like all the people are like, "Is the placebo in this truck?" And they start mobbing and taking over the truck. I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Were they dressed in flak vests with holding guns and flags? Because that would be exactly what we're looking at right now.
Right. I don't know, man. That's gonna be a tough one. I'm curious. I think The Simpsons will win for nostalgia, but Batman, dude, the OG Batman was so good. It was so good. Drama, which is bottom right for you guys watching. Drama right here. This is some tough ones.
This one's a little harder. I haven't seen a lot of these, unfortunately, but I've seen probably half of them at least.
Yeah.
My winning take of it all. I am the danger. Breaking Bad.
Yep. Agreed. It's my second favorite show of all time, period. And I just did a rewatch of most of it, and God, it's solid all the way through.
So dang
Such
good.
a great show. So good.
See, problem is that I'm not as into the drama, so it's harder for me. But when you throw in something like Daredevil into a drama, that's gonna really pique my interest. And Game of Thrones. I mean, I know most of you guys know, but I only watched Game of Thrones for the first time last year. I haven't watched a lot of things for the first time last year.
Interesting.
But I watched it, but it was nice because I watched it all the way through.
Yeah,
you didn't have to wait. Yeah.
And
I
I'm one of
gotta
the very few that I really enjoyed the ending. I know that there are problems, but I do like the way they did it.
A few.
Like people were overly critical.
I think so.
I mean, even with the last season, I still got to pick Game of Thrones as well. I mean, it was one of those. I've never had a show like when the dragon comes over the hills to take out the armies. I think that was season 7, maybe. I've never had a show where I like stood up in my chair and was like, yes, yes, yes. I've been waiting for this, you know.
Yeah, I think I might have yelled out a few times while watching that show for real.
Yeah. So that's what puts it over the top for me. It's like, I mean, Breaking Bad, it took me a while to get into it. I did finish it, but it didn't have that same effect on me. Like, I was just like, dude. Yeah. So the next one's the one that's near and dear to all of our nerd hearts, and that's sci-fi. And we got Firefly still in it. So, and that
was hard.
I love Firefly, but I think that was an upset as well. Battlestar Galactica is the best show ever made. That's my number one.
Yeah,
so if you guys could get the whiteout out and just fix that, that'd be great.
See, I was one of actually the few people that voted for The Boys. I wasn't the biggest fan.
Great, but it can't contend with those for me.
See, I'm going to show my bias here.
Oh, it's up against PSG.
Battlestar Galactica, when it was really big, was also... Well, that's the original series that we're talking about.
No, this is the remake. 2004.
That's the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original series is like...
Oh, sorry.
Dated.
I was confusing. Yeah. Around the same time, I mean, it's a few years even earlier, was when Stargate SG-1 was around. And that was my show. The Stargate, SG-1, and Stargate Atlantis. Those were my shows.
I knew I liked you, Scarecrow. Yes, the whole Stargate series from start to finish, even when it got really campy, was great. Jason Momoa on there? Come on. Hardly anybody even knows he was on there, and he was great.
Wait, that's the first time I ever saw him.
Yeah. Well, he was on Baywatch, and then he went to Stargate Atlantis.
I didn't
but honestly, I think there's a travesty in the world that we don't have more Stargate now. That is primed for a comeback.
We never knew the true ending to Atlantis. Come on.
Nope. I know.
Not really, no.
They're still going. They're still flying right now.
No,
that was
they made
Universe.
Oh,
Universe made it.
Yeah, you know what?
Atlantis made it to Earth.
I can't
Okay.
find the article on this. I'm sorry, I'm going to derail us for a quick second, but we're talking Stargate. This is a passion of mine. Stargate Universe was a
We need to talk more
fantastic
often.
show. And at the end, they went into like cryo sleep for what, if I remember right, was supposed to be 10 years.
Right.
Okay.
On
When did that
SG-1.
show end? No, on Universe.
Oh, Universe.
They were in that giant ship that had the Stargate
Yeah.
on there, and they could jump within a vicinity, but they were headed towards the answer to it all. And I think they went into cryosleep for 10 years, if I remember the story right. I can't find an article anywhere that outlines it. I just need to go back and watch.
I think
It
it's
has
about
been about 10 years since that series ended. How
Oh, boy.
brilliant would it be to bring the
Oh.
series back on the other end when they wake up from cryosleep and then somehow explain
Yes.
away aging?
They need
Because
to.
they will look a little different as,
Right.
oops, the cryo chamber kept you asleep, but you still aged. Sorry about
No,
that.
see, I got it right here. I got it. It's a very old ship. The cryotech isn't fully advanced, so they slowly age. They still age, but it's much slower.
There you go.
Huh.
God, I would watch that.
Already
Oh,
thinking
that
all
was
the
like
so
the way
good.
you boys are thinking.
Yep.
Because that was a huge disappointment for me not seeing the end to that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got a few thousand people watching right now, but if one of you guys works for Sci-Fi, listen to us.
Right. Do it.
Or
Amazon.
Siffy, or whatever you call yourselves these days.
I'm gonna blow you guys' mind with this logic here, but nothing is better than Baby Yoda. The Mandalorian's gonna take it all. Gonna take it all, man. Baby Yoda it's such a craze right now, man, and it's like Jon Favreau, the way he did it, it just like it's so good, dude. Look,
It
look,
is.
I'm supporting the Mando right now. I got my Star Wars shirt on.
I'll admit it is pretty fantastic, especially after seeing the gallery with the director's interview. Huge respect for it even further. But it's no Battlestar.
Dude, but
You
like,
gotta earn it over multiple seasons.
gotta earn it,
One
exactly.
season was great, and I'm sure they're gonna follow it up with like Taika Waititi and Robert Rodriguez directing episodes. It's gonna be fantastic. But
Yep.
we don't have that yet.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's
rough,
everything
like,
a Star
yeah.
Wars fan can want. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just.
Wait till they introduce Baby Jar Jar in the next
Oh,
series.
Oh
and then-
no, we got
Oh.
Ahsoka coming, so I'm excited for that one. So yeah.
That final
Uh,
episode of Clone Wars.
Oh, oof. So good.
Oof.
So good. So we got a segment we're bringing back, and that's the Ask Analog segment, and we're just throwing it in here, Ask Sully, as well, because we like to have our guests have questions asked. So we're just going to read through these real quick, and you guys in chat, if you have a question, you can certainly ask it as well. Just tag us in the chat. But That Mama Rocks, or as in our Discord, she goes by, That Mama Likes Beards.
Yes, she does.
And we look at this all. Look at these beards. Oh.
we aim to please.
She says, when can we get a Dragon Age Funko? LOL.
This great question. We get this kind of stuff all the time, and what I always like to say is anything is possible with enough time. It's all about the licensing. So what I would recommend, if that's something you really want, you start tweeting about it, and you tag Funko and you tag BioWare, and you just keep on at it, and you get your friends involved. So
Just keep
money
going
moves.
and going. Yeah.
And if those
I mean,
two
we've
companies
had-
think they can sell them, it'll
Yeah.
happen.
There's plenty of other BioWare games that have had Funko stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mass
So-
Effect. I know y'all's proclivity towards Mass Effect. So
Yes.
Eh,
Yep.
I'm the
Whatever,
not all
oddball
of
Scarecrow.
you.
I'm the
Get off the
oddball out.
cast. So here's another good one for you from Anger. He says, Sully, what's it like living in Texas for so long and then moving to the Snow Joe? I live in PNW and want to move to Texas. Any recommendations?
Well, I have some questions for Anger that may just open up his eyes to a few things. Anger, do you like bathing in your own sweat for 6 months at a time? Stay in Texas or go to Texas. Do mosquitoes like you? And if so, how much?
This is
Can
true.
you drive an oversized pickup truck but never haul anything around? And are you ready to gain 35 to 50 pounds?
Yes.
Because even though the great state of Texas and the outdoors have tried to kill me for years, I miss them dearly. I really do. I miss Texas. I miss Whataburger, the great Mexican food. breakfast tacos and kolaches, which don't seem to be anything anywhere else in the world except in Texas. Can you guys believe that? Kolaches.
What a shame.
Nowhere else.
Wow.
West
I got
Kolaches,
people look at me
man.
like I'm crazy.
Oh,
Oh, well,
I got Colorado, and I found them, but it might have just been the area I was in.
Well, I got to go there because also legalized weed is pretty nice. And moving on, Texas, amazing food, great people, lots of elbow room, and a very low cost of living. I would recommend it if you can deal with the heat. I personally did nothing but complain about the heat. I think I've found home up here now.
It took a few years for me to adjust from West Texas to southern-ish Texas, Houston.
They call that
And
swamp. Yeah.
now that I'm adjusted, it's nothing.
Yeah, there's
see,
a reason
I came
why.
from originally Colorado and up in the mountains, like up not Denver, not low area, like high Rocky Mountain areas.
Yeah.
And boy, that was a change because I literally moved at the end of the ski season.
Yeah.
And boy, I went from that winter we had 2 weeks straight where it was -40 at noon, working at a ski resort, to coming down here to like +100 days.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Boy, that was a wake up call.
no spank you. I went
Sweaty
temperate.
balls.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's another good one for you. What's your favorite pop of all time? This is from Nate Johns.
I get this one a lot, and you guys may not be surprised. I went ahead and pulled it from the collection so I could show it, and it is the SDCC exclusive flocked Sully.
Sully!
There are only
surprised.
480 of those in the world, and I tell this story a lot. I looked this up online after that SDCC because I wasn't lucky enough to score it, and I sat there on eBay in front of my computer for a good 5 minutes debating if I should spend that much on a pop. That much of the time was $40. And this bad boy now goes for anywhere from like 800 to 1,000. So I think I made the right call.
Wise investment, good sir.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw a question in there. What is the most you've ever paid for a pop, if you want to disclose that?
Believe it or not, I've been very careful over the years. Most anything I have in my collection that's worth quite a bit is because I picked it up when it was not worth that much. There have been a couple of exceptions. I bought the prototype for Ivan Drago from the Rocky set, which the prototype, there's only a handful of those in the world that's actually used in the design process for the pops. I got the all white Ivan Drago and spent, I think, 120 on that. And then I bought a 4-pack after D23 one year that has these mini pops with Ratatouille, Wally, Carl from Up, and I want to say a mini Buzz Lightyear. And I spent 120 on that. Or 80 on that. It was 120 on the proto and 80 on that. And that's the highest I've spent in all these years.
Nice. Considering how many, I'm actually kind of surprised. But
I just went ham in the beginning. As soon as I found out what it was, like I remember I say this all the time too. As soon as they announced He-Man, I ordered every single one of them as a pre-order. That whole first set. I do not regret that. Rocky, same thing. Thundercat, same thing. There's quite a few in that range that I was just like, yep, purchase. I don't really care. I want them all, and boy, that paid off.
Nice. To tag onto your questions, Crow, on the flip side, what's the most you've sold a pop for?
Or have you sold a pop? I have never sold a pop from my collection. I have traded and I have given away, but I've never sold one.
That makes sense.
Nice.
Too much of a collector right there.
Yeah, one, it would be hard to part with them, and two, as you can imagine now in my situation, that might be frowned upon. So I don't want to take advantage of anyone or vice versa. So just easier to stay out of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
One comment about that, like we're talking about stuff like that. I have to give a shout out to you and all the other Funko. You are amazing, and I also hate you at the same time for bringing out the My Hero Academia line. Because I think I own just about every single one of them. And I was at a point where I was slowing down, and then you guys started releasing those. I'm like, damn you.
You better go ahead and secure a second job, my friend. I have a feeling that line is going to continue strong for years to come. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Donate some plasma. There you go.
Yeah, regularly. Yeah.
Stick me again, nurse.
The anime, I can't speak for the company, but I can say that what I've witnessed is the anime just took off more than anyone could have ever expected when it comes to selling pops. And that has really accounted for a large portion of the company's sales over the last couple of years and just continues to grow. So
that's awesome.
Smart market to tap into.
Oh, absolutely.
And can you believe that the creator of that show almost stopped at like season 2?
God. Well, that's a testament to building an audience. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that most of the television networks don't get now. Like, hey, let's put up a season. It didn't take off immediately, cancel it, and then
Yeah.
everybody
Mm-hmm.
falls in love with it when it goes to streaming. Like, what are
Firefly.
they even doing?
Firefly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ultimate example.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Street
there's
Fox.
it's so good because there's so many references to everything. Like the creator, he is a huge Marvel fan and a massive Star Wars fan. So there are a lot of things that reference back
Okay, I
to
might
it.
have to watch that then.
Yeah,
I'm not a big
Colin
anime fan.
just got
It's-
into it as well.
it's
I
a
think
show
I might
that-
need to watch it.
You probably would be interested in if you can get over the main character crying all the time for the first 2 seasons.
Everyone tells me, because I mentioned quite a bit that I've not gotten into anime. I have nothing against it. I just haven't spent the time with it like I have other fandoms. Everybody tells me that My Hero Academia is the best way to get into it.
I'm gonna have to
It's
check
right
it out
up
then.
there. It's become like a couple years ago. I wouldn't have said that. Well, it wasn't around a couple years ago, but anyway, like the ones that I would have said you need to watch this first have gone down the list just because of My Hero.
Hmm.
Like it's just that good.
One day.
One
One
day.
day. So this
And
is
I'll be
interesting.
here as soon as you start it.
This is an interesting question, and I've never heard of this. But Dark Life says, why are there hidden figures inside some pops' heads?
You know, this is news to me too. I do not know what the question is here exactly. Only thing I could think of was I have gotten a few pops over the years where you shake them and there's a
Mhm.
noise inside. And that either is probably like some sort of loose plastic or maybe even a broken component, because the head, if you pull hard enough, you could take the head off of the stationary pops. And of course, the Marvel ones that are bobblehead and Star Wars, they have a little spring in there that you can pull the head all the
Yeah.
way off pretty easily.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's little bits in there that might break off, and that must be what that is. Now, maybe this person's experience is they literally found a hidden something inside of one.
I've seen a video of someone cutting a head open, one of those ones that was rattling.
Yeah.
Cut it open, and there was one of the little minifigures in it, in
What?
the head.
Apparently, Olga Gaming in chat says that was a fake video someone did on
Ah.
TikTok.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never
That's the
heard
ol-
anything.
The one that I've seen, so yeah,
Now,
probably.
There are some cool Easter eggs when it comes to pops. If you turn pops around, sometimes you'll find stuff on the back that most people will never see if they're an inbox collector. And then also the box itself. If you're opening the lid, sometimes in the lip on the lid will be a phrase from that show or movie or whatever, secret code, if you will. So you got to
But who
look.
opens the box? I mean,
Not
what
this
sane
guy.
person does that?
Not this guy. Only for unboxing videos. Those aren't mine.
We got 2 questions from in chat.
Okay.
Olga Gaming asks, Sully, what's your favorite Grail? Huge Funko fan and supporter.
Well, I get this question a lot too, and I think it goes back to 2013 SDCC one that I didn't pick up, and that was the Gold Loki. That was back in the day where they were all a little derpy looking compared to what they look like now. Still great art. I'm not dogging the artists, and they all had that superhero pose, but he had those big horns, and it was gold, and it was breathtaking. And I passed up on buying that one for like $80, and I think now it goes for like $1,500.
Is that what that's referred to as, like the gold ones? The Grail?
Well, there are, that would be considered a Grail. There are indeed
Okay.
actual gold chrome or gold pops now, but that was just gold in color mostly.
Just like a
not
solid. Okay.
solid. No, it was
Oh,
just
not
like
solid?
his helmet and his armor were gold.
Okay.
Long before they
got-
were chrome.
I've got the gold chrome Comic-Con C3PO.
Oh, I like those.
I think that's also the most I've spent for a pop. I think I paid like $40 for that one.
That's
I
not
talked the
bad.
guy down from like 60 or something.
That's not bad at all.
I believe Grail, in the terms of Funko, is more of the item you seeking for you don't have yet.
Yeah.
Like the
Okay.
Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's usually reserved for those that are worth just, an extreme amount at this point. I mean, I can't believe some of the sale prices I've seen over the years just boggle my mind. When I got into it, I was just hoping someone would reach a few $100, and now it's far exceeded that.
I haven't even checked mine in forever. Don't even know if I'll ever be able to get rid of them.
Those first wave My Hero that go for quite a bit these days.
Dang, because I've got a lot of them.
Well, if you here's a plug. This is not paid for by Funko, but if you download the Funko app, it actually pulls the value of items from sale prices on eBay. So you can actually
Interesting.
download the Funko item, scan the barcode on the bottom of your box, and it'll tell you what the average going rate for a pop is these days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. We got one last question, also from Oh Good Gaming. Sully, any advice to a growing streamer, an avid collector, to be noticed by someone in your company?
Ooh.
Well, I think the same advice I would give anybody starting out with any passion that they want to turn into a business or a long time or a full-time job down the road, something that really pays the bills. And that is stick with something you're passionate about for sure. Make sure that streaming is something you want to do. Stick with stick with things that you're comfortable with. Don't do something just to try and build your audience. And consistency. That's the one word I have heard over the years from every creator that rings a bell with me at all times. And that is, if you commit to something, you got to keep doing it. And you got to look adversity in the face and laugh at it. If there's a wall that someone puts up because they don't believe you can do it, don't listen to them. Keep doing it. If you wake up and you don't feel like you should do it that day, get past it. Find a way around it. There's going to be a day where you're going to be kind of out of it and don't feel like it, and then something amazing is going to happen because you took the time to do it that day. And if it's not working, maybe mix it up a little bit. Try something different. I've been doing my stream on Mixer, and I've been very lucky that a lot of friends and fans have come in to support me. But the other day, I reached into my collection and I pulled out a holographic Darth Vader pop that's worth a car payment these days. And I said, I'm giving away 4 prizes tonight, and that might be one of them. Come check out my stream. And man, that got people's attention. Yeah, right? It turned out I guess lucky for me, unlucky for the fans, that 2 other prizes were won, and that was not one of them.
Oh, man.
But I will eventually give it away. I'm not going to do that to people, like put it back in the vault and never see it again. I'm gonna make sure eventually one of my followers on the stream gets that. So it's like take some chances, do something different, but remain consistent and true to what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good, man.
Absolutely.
Well, dude, Sully, man, thank you so much for joining us. I love podcasting with you, man, and getting to hang out with you. It's just so fun. Like, I need to see your face more often, bro.
Absolutely. This is a blast. I love you guys so much, and I love your podcast and your community and everything you're doing. It just makes me smile when I see your name pop up in my chat or on Twitter. So you guys keep just killing it. You're doing such a great job. And yeah. And if you ever need anything from me, I'm here.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate that, brother.
I need some Funkos from your collection. You heard it here.
First of all, Funkos are not a thing. Let's go with that. I'm just kidding. It's an ongoing joke inside the company.
Yeah. Well, bro, tell everyone where they can find you on socials, your stream, all of that for you guys that are listening and watching.
Absolutely. I'm all over social media, but I spend most of my time on Twitter. So if you want to follow me at CSSULLY on Twitter, I love to engage with people. Don't be shy. Come on in, say hi, join in the conversation. I'm streaming on Mixer, and to make it super confusing, I am McCracken5 on Mixer because that was my gamer tag from 15 years ago, and I just stuck with it. And then I just started the new podcast with my brother, Movie Retakes, where every week or every 2 weeks, we watch a movie that we fell in love with years ago or recently. We break it down. We tell you some cool trivia behind the movie, and then we actually give our own retake pitch for what we think a sequel, prequel, spinoff, or other retake might be. So we're writing our own ideas and pitching them in the podcast, which has been a blast. Talk about having to be creative. Our most recent one was Snowpiercer, because there's a TV series coming. But we pitched our idea on what we thought a sequel movie would look like.
Boom.
Love it, man.
And we're
links in chat.
At Movie Retakes on Twitter as well. So please give that a listen if you would, and maybe subscribe if you're down with it.
Nice.
Right on, brother. Well, guys, if you like our community, then check out our friends, The Shed, at theshed.gg. And if you would, guys, like us on Facebook, leave us a review on iTunes, and you can follow us all on Twitter. Remember, guys, when in doubt, blow it up!
Explosions! All day.